The U.S. aviation body FAA and the National Transportation Safety Board NTSB have launched an investigation after a medical jet with 6 Mexican nationals on board crashed in the U.S. city of Philadelphia 30 seconds after taking off. Now, this crash is the third aviation disaster in the U.S. in just 4 days. On Tuesday, a single-seat F-35 fighter jet crashed during a training exercise at a base in Alaska. A day later, a passenger plane and a military helicopter collided mid-air over Washington, resulting in the deadliest U.S. air disaster in almost a quarter of a century. And now both FAA and NTSB are already probing the crash. They will also try to find out the cause of Friday's medical jet crash in Philadelphia. The Philadelphia crash took place shortly after 6 p.m. local time. The medical transport jet reportedly had a child patient and 5 others on board. All 6 on board were Mexican citizens, the country's foreign ministry said in a statement. A video footage appeared to show the twin-engine plane descending at a sharp angle towards a residential area, sparking a huge fireball upon impact. The fireball engulfed several homes, leaving burning out buildings and vehicles in its wake. The plane, which was a Learjet 55, quickly disappeared from radar after taking off from the airport after climbing to an altitude of 1,600 feet. It was en route to Springfield, Missouri, and was registered to a company operating as MedJets. Those are medical jets. The flight tracker showed the path of the fateful flight just before the crash. The Philadelphia Office of Emergency Management confirmed on social media that there was a major incident in the area of the reported crash. The aircraft crashed and sparked a large fire in a built-up neighborhood. It prompted a major emergency response. The crash happened less than 3 miles from Northeast Philadelphia Airport, which primarily serves business jets and charter flights. Reacting to it, U.S. President Donald Trump said that more innocent souls have been lost after this incident. Philadelphia Mayor Cheryl Parker said Friday night at a news conference that information on fatalities wasn't immediately known, but several homes and vehicles had been damaged.
I want to go through some basic facts about what we know for certain right now. An aircraft went down in the vicinity of Roosevelt Mall on Cottman Avenue. This occurred shortly after 6 p.m. this evening. As of right now, we have no reports on the number of fatalities. So right now we're just asking for prayers for any and everyone who may have been affected.
Now, the Philadelphia crash, as well as the others that are under investigation, do raise big questions on whether there's a common thread to the lapses that have caused them. 3 crashes in 4 days in the U.S. raises serious questions that need to be answered. And for more on this, joining me live on the broadcast is Janusz Janiszewski, who is an aviation expert and former chairman of A6 Alliance of the biggest air navigation service providers in Europe. Mr. Janiszewski, thank you so much for joining me. As we understand that the probe is still on. As per your understanding of avionics, what do we know regarding the cause of the crash? Is there anything that you would suspect at this point?
Good afternoon and good evening to everybody. Unfortunately, for the time being, we don't know any kind of causes or the reasons why the aircraft just collided and fall down on the ground. Unfortunately, that was during the very critical phase of the whole flight. So, I mean, the takeoff, just after the takeoff, aircraft was climbing up to 1,600 feet, and the tower lost the contact, radar contact, and the radio contact. So we don't know what has happened exactly. So we cannot assume. Probably there was some kind of technical problem, or maybe the bird strike after just departure from the airport. But everything has to be checked now by the investigators of NTSB. So that's what we can say for the time being. We don't have any kind of details from the investigators, from the tower, or from the other authorities for the time being.
Mr. Janiszewski, 3 aviation disasters, one worse than the other. It all happened within a span of 4 days. if you were to look at all of them, the F-35 in Alaska, it's one of the finest planes in the world, the collision, the mid-air collision, and now, of course, this disaster which has happened in Philadelphia. Is there anything common that you find in the way these have happened? Is there any common thread tying them?
Well, I can say only think that every accident is different. Of course, with the military F-35, probably it was during the training flights, so we don't know what exactly happened. And the tragedy over the Ronald Reagan Airport, at the almost Ronald Reagan Airport in Washington, there might be a lot of reasons on the way between the air traffic control, on the flight procedures and everything which is connected to that. So we don't know. We can assume something. And unfortunately, those tragedy, the last tragedy, probably caused by the technical problem. We can say now that we are facing, probably the United States are facing now the serious low, because there are accidents after the accident. There sometimes happens in the history of aviation that every 10 years we have the series of serious accidents in the air or at the airport, and unfortunately, probably we are facing such situation now.
Mr. Yanishevsky, I understand it's a developing situation at this point. We need to wait for the probe for the reasons to come out. Each disaster, as you mentioned, each crash can be different from the other. It's difficult to say if there's anything common tying all three incidents which have occurred within a span of 4 days, but extremely unfortunate. We'll let you go for now. There will be more to discuss in future. Would look forward to having you on the show again.
Thank you.